This video is the fifth in a series of 6 videos. This series will give you all of the necessary information to install a good and reliable camera system while helping remove any uncertainty associated with purchasing the proper hardware. Simply put, the goal of this series is to help you determine the appropriate system hardware and components to ensure proper protection of your most valued assets. In this video, I intend to take you along as I install a 5th camera to my current 4-camera system. That's up next in this segment of Bud's Odd Jobs, the DIY's best source for home improvement hints, tips, and how-to videos. If you missed the previous segments of this series, allow me to encourage you to take the opportunity to review them. The first video is a summary of the topics that I included in the series. In the second video, I compare and contrast power over internet or PoE cameras with Wi-Fi cameras, and I make recommendations regarding the best cameras for indoor and outdoor surveillance systems. In the third video, I talk about the many elements that you will want to consider when you're planning your layout. In the fourth video, I discuss the components and the cost of my current system, and you'll want to be sure to check out each of these videos before making the decision to purchase your hardware and install your system. That said, let's get this camera installed. Okay, so these are the items that come shipped with the Amcrest cameras that I'm using, and the actual camera is the IP2M-842EW. So a few things about this camera. It's the Amcrest Pro HD. It has 1080p resolution. It is the bullet camera. They also come with in dome cameras. As you can see, I think here they have a wide viewing angle. It's a 72-degree viewing angle that helps you get the coverage for the wider areas. It has night vision capability of up to 98 feet. And it works real well at night, and it has the weatherproof housing really as well. This camera does real well. You're also able to view it mobily. They are easy to set up. It does have optional cloud storage if you want that in addition to the storage on your network video recorder, and it does indicate that it is for outdoor use because it's weatherproof as well. This camera does come with the mounting hardware. Additionally, it comes with a disc they can use for setup, and it comes of course with the waterproof connector as well. These are the actual cameras that I have in the other locations on my home. So I have 4 other cameras just like this one here. So this is the one I intend to mount in my garage. This would be on the inside pointing to the overhead door. One thing that I wanted to point out when mounting these cameras, if you buy the pre-made Ethernet cables, which you can do, and then just plug them in, the problem with that is that the kit comes with this weather seal, and unless you make your own cables, you cannot deploy this weather seal. Okay, so I have this basically laid out how these pieces go together. And again, if you buy pre-purchased cable, you got 2 problems. Number one, you have to make sure you've got the proper distance. So you'll probably end up buying more cable than you need. The other problem is when you're putting this cable through the wall, if you already have an end on it, you have to drill a much bigger hole to get that connector through the wall than you would if you just are running the cable through it. And the other problem is you will not be able to use these weather tight seals. So you'll have to look for other means to seal, because basically you're going to be plugging your Ethernet directly into here, and then you have exposed parts, because there is no way to get this piece on and all the gaskets unless you're attaching the Ethernet connector after you've assembled these pieces on. So let me show you how these go together. This piece would go on first, and then this gasket is next. Now it's important that you put this in the proper way. If you look inside here, this beveled end is received down in the bottom. So you can actually put this in first, snug it in there, and then your cable goes through there. And this is just like this is a compression fitting, so the more you tighten this, the tighter the cable becomes. You want to leave it loose to begin with, because you want movement in this line, so that you can strip the line and get your connector on comfortably. Once you get your connector on, and this supposes that you've already tested this camera, made sure it's operational before you mount it, and so once you've got it mounted and you're ready to connect it, then you would want to put this seal on. And for demonstration purposes, we're going to assume that I've got the Ethernet connector already on this line. Then you would plug this in, you would slide this up, and this just twists shut for a nice tight, watertight seal there. You're not going to get any moisture in there. And then to secure this line, you just simply want to tighten this all the way down. When you do that, I cannot move this line, so that keeps the tension off your connection there. It gives you a wonderful watertight seal there. There's no way you're going to get any moisture in the line that will create corrosion on your connector. Okay, so here you can see my NVR. I have it in a concealed room that I can secure with a lock. In this room also I have my SmartThings hub. Both of these are connected to my router, and then I have several lines that go up the wall here and exit out into the wall of the garage. And the way I have my line set up, they run up that wall in the garage into the attic, and from the attic I can access all the necessary points that I need. I have 4 active cameras currently. You can see them on the monitor that I have back here. I can also call this activity up on my computer, and also on all of our mobile devices that we have. You can also call this up on any wireless connected TV. So there's a lot of viewing options associated with that. So I've already attached a test cable into my NVR, and I'm going to take my camera. This is my new camera that I'm going to put in the garage, and we're going to go ahead and connect it just to test the connection. So there it is connected. Now I am going to switch the view. It's on a 4-camera view, and we're going to switch it to an 8-camera view. So it's not finding that camera, so we're going to add it. I'm going to move here so you can see the screen. So it didn't find the camera, so we're going to add the camera. And we're going to hit device search. There it found the 5th camera in port 5, so we're going to add that, and there you see it's showing up. So that's how easy it is to connect it. And now you can see that it found the camera. It also found me upside down. There we go. So there you have it. Easy to connect. Camera appears to be working fine. So I know it's a working camera. So in addition to testing it here, I have my 5th cable here that runs out to my garage. Once I get a connector on the other end, and I won't put that on until I put the weather seal connectors on. And once I get that all connected up, I'm going to use my tester to make sure I've got a good signal on this cable on both ends. And then I'll also go the additional step and plug the camera in before I mount it, just to make sure that the cable is working as it should, and we'll be set to go. Ethernet wires run from the basement through this wall into my attic, which is up above here. Okay, so then as you can see up top here, the cables come up from that wall, and I have them going up and then just across over top through the rafters to the various points of my house. Now the most difficult run that I had was the run that you see right here, which enters the wall over there. There's a crawl space in my attic on the house side, and there was a run that I had to do to go up over the porch in order to mount the one camera on my front porch. That was the most challenging, but the other runs that come on the other side of the upper portion of my garage are just a matter of running down to the eaves. And I've got 2 cameras on that side, and then I ran 2 lines on this side with the intention that I would add another camera on the eave back there, but actually I'm going to use that second line to run my 5th camera into the garage. As I'm fairly sure that I mentioned in the prior video, when you run these lines, you want to always think about the potential need to add additional cameras. So it's worthwhile, while you're going through the trouble, to run 1 or 2 extra lines. As I stated in the earlier video, I was only running 3 cameras to this side of the house, but I elected to run a 4th line with the anticipation of a need to add an additional camera at some point. So you'll save yourself a lot of grief if you do that when you're installing your lines. Okay, so what I elected to do is to mount this camera in one of the corners of the garage. And you see that piece of copper tubing. I drilled a hole up through the ceiling, and I'm going to come through there, and then I'll just run the wire to the corner and then hook up the camera. By hooking it up in the corner, that'll give me viewability of the door that leads into the house from the garage, as well as the overhead door. So I think it'll increase my viewing ability much better. Okay, so I was having some difficulty finding the hole that I drilled, so I took a short length of Ethernet wire and pushed it up through the hole, a considerable portion of it, used some duct tape to tape it in place so it didn't fall back out. And as a result, I was able to easily find the end of that wire and pull it up. Now what I'm going to do is take that tape, and I will basically tape the 2 ends together so that I can easily pull the line down through into the garage so I can make my connection. So here you can see my tape section. I'll just go down below and pull that through. Okay, with my camera mounted in place, it is now time to go ahead and cut that Ethernet wire to length and then put on the Ethernet end in order to test the camera's connection. Okay, so I'm at a point now where I've exposed my wire, untwisted my pairs, but before I started that process I put on the barrel that I showed you earlier so that I can get a weather tight seal. Obviously in the garage moisture is not that big of an issue, but I did want to show you that so that you were aware when you're installing these outside in the elements, you want to make sure that you attach your own Ethernet ends so that you can utilize these watertight seals. So I'm not going to get into the detail of how you sequence these wires. I've addressed that in a separate video with a lot of detail. So if you look in the upper right hand corner, I'll leave a link for that video. And it also goes into how you test once you get the Ethernet connection on and before you hook it up to your camera. How do you make sure that you sequence them right and that you have a reliable contact in each one of those lines? That video goes into a lot of detail to show you how to connect those properly and also how to test them. Okay, so at this point I have my Ethernet connector attached, and I'm going to grab my tester and make sure that we have a good connection. Okay, so I have the powered end of my tonar tester down by the NVR. I've got it switched on, and this is the remote end that you want to plug in at the other end of the cable. And you want to make sure that these lights are coming on in sequence. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this confirms not only that I have continuity to each of the 8 wires, the network cable wires, but also that I have them in the proper sequence. So that's necessary to make sure that your camera's going to work properly. So we're good to go, and we'll go ahead and hook up the camera here. So I got the camera plugged in. This is loose enough so that it'll slide, so that I can twist connect these together. Got a nice seal there, and we just tighten this down, and that makes sure that that cable is not going to move. So we have our connection. Next we just need to then connect the camera downstairs into the NVR. Okay, so the NVR did easily find my camera. You can see the garage in the 5th screen there. Go ahead and double tap that and open it up larger, so you can actually see me in the video, and I'm just going to adjust that up a little bit so that I have a little better viewing range. And I'm going to move it over slightly and maybe up just a hair higher. There we go. I think that's pretty good. So as you can see, with 72-degree viewing angle, it easily covers not only the overhead garage door but also the man door that leads into our home. So there you go, all set up. I trust the information presented in this video has gotten you a little more comfortable with installing your own surveillance system. If you are currently considering the installation of a security camera system, I am certain that you will eventually come to the same conclusion that I did. The relatively low cost and minimal effort needed to install a good and reliable camera system is not only a good idea, it's a very wise investment. The peace of mind that I have gained by installing my Amcrest system is invaluable to me. If you are considering the possibility of purchasing a security camera system, I encourage you to smash that subscribe button and to check out the product links listed below. In addition, be sure to click on that notification bell to get automatic notification of any additional videos in this series. If you're already a subscriber, let me take the opportunity to thank you for your help in getting me established as a new YouTube creator. Your subscription and continued loyalty are greatly appreciated. It's important to me that I'm targeting my subscribers' needs for video content. If I'm missing the target, please comment below about additional topics that you would like me to cover. I encourage and I appreciate your comments and suggestions. Finally, if this video content was helpful to you, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching this current segment. I hope you found the content useful. Be sure to tune in for the next segment when I'll be reviewing the Amcrest application both on the smartphone and also on the PC. I'll show you not only how to look at live streams but also to look at recorded content on your hard drive so that you can check out all the events that occurred. We'll see you on the next segment. Bye for now.